Hi guys, Mr. Holster here, just having some cranberry, strawberry, lemon. I guess that's it. Just cranberry, strawberry, lemon, and water here in the tack room. Breakfast of champions to beat what ails us. This is what I'm going to talk about here. My Ruger match champion that I've been fiddling around with to try and make it what I want it to be to work for me. And if you remember, I took the fiber optic sight off the front, filled it in, painted it so I had a more target-like sight, because my usage for this gun is one in which I need to have a very precise shot. Fast acquisition is nice, but in this case I'm more concerned with a very precise shot than I am fast acquisition. Although I'll still want to get it out and deploy it fast, I really am more concerned with the ability to shoot a very precise shot. Okay, so this is where we're at with the thing. I've redone the grip shape, if you'll see, and get it on this side so you can see the finger groove I put in for my pinky. Okay. And I took off a lot of material before it came way down here. Took a lot of material off the back on the hump. And if you look at the top, there's half as much here. If you have one of these guns, you know what I'm talking about. This is like a eighth of an inch or a quarter inch bigger than it is now. Taking all this material out of here, down here, across here, this point that was coming out here, and I put in that finger groove to kind of give me a spot to put my pinky on that'll keep the other two fingers up as high as possible. And I think we have what we're looking for here. It's a matter of going down to shoot it and see where we're at. So that's what I'm going to do as soon as I finish my breakfast health drink. I'm going to go down to the shooting range and shoot this, so let's go do that. Now we're starting to get there. Well, here we are back in the tack room with its cooler, and this little hump right here, I think I'm going to take that out because I think I have a tendency to the gun has a tendency to rock a little in my hand. Not as much as it did. It doesn't move around like it did before, but I think it's rocking just a little bit because that hump is sitting right there against this joint down here and rocking. So we get a little up and down there on that I think would go away if I take that hump out. So thinking about that. Other than that, I think I got her done, set. It's just a matter of me becoming one with a gun, which takes a lot of rounds for me. So here's the two last strings, and I can't even remember which is which now, but they're pretty similar. Last 6 shots at the 50-yard mark. Yeah, you know, I think this one was the first and this was the last, but whatever, it does not matter. But I think that's considerably better than I was grouping before, which was considerably better than the time before that. I reduced it in half the first time, and now I think this is considerably less than half the size group as before. And I think part of my problem here is that hump yet, but now I've got to the point where this is acceptable enough that it's worth working on to get better, I say. Yeah. I think at this point we're finally getting to something that's at least no longer embarrassing. Yeah, we work with it. Get a good holster for the gun, if I can ever afford to, and work with the firearm and a couple thousand rounds, and I'll have that thing to a point where I think I can use it. So there you go. And the reason I wanted to do this, other than I wanted to find out if I should just dump this thing. Of course, by the time I got done, it's relatively, it's worth nothing to anybody but me at this point. But I wasn't shooting it well. It wasn't anything worth keeping because it wasn't working for me. So it's a good gun. It just needed, I just needed to make it right for what I wanted to use it for and for me. And now it becomes a great gun. Now I work with it. It's my fault now entirely because the thing's, except for that hump, we'll get that out of there. The thing's set up for me, so if I miss now, it's entirely at my feet. I've got this thing set up for me, and get out there and work with it. I should be able to get good with it instead of just being adequate like I am now. Yeah, so that's what we'll do next, but I wanted to do that for that reason. Plus, I wanted to show you can go out and buy the greatest gun in the world, and it's still not the right gun for you. You have to make the gun yours. So you want to buy them and collect them in your cabinet and take them out and parade them around and wear them once a week and rotate them, go right ahead. But if you want to be able to actually use the firearm and use it well, which should be the goal, says I, you got to do the things to make the firearm work for you, because they aren't going to come from the factory set up for you. They're going to come for the factory set up for the general public. A lot of the firearms, it's pretty hard to do that with. A Glock is a Glock. There isn't much you can do to modify that grip frame unless you're going to go out and buy a whole new frame, which can be done nowadays. And I pick on the Glock. That's one of the reasons the Gen 4 and the Gen 5, they've gone to that replaceable backstrap. So it at least does something. You get to the Gen 3s like I have, and if they don't work for you, you're just out of luck. Yeah, because you're never going to shoot them well. And let me tell you, I don't know who those grip frames are really made for, because they aren't very neutral. So, at any rate, get a revolver. There's a lot of things you can do to a revolver. Custom grips, put on the grips that are right for you, the type of sights you want. There's no reason you can't shoot a revolver well once you get it set up for you. I guess that's the point. Whatever firearm you pick, you got to spend time with it, become one with the gun, and be really good with it. Otherwise, what's the point of carrying it around if you're not really good with it, says I. Number two, you can do it. You can make it your own. Two parts to that. One, get the gun set up so it works for you, so you just naturally shoot it well. Number two, spend the time to practice and get good with the gun, so you're just not naturally shooting it well. You're shooting it well because you're good with that gun. There you go. There's the end of my little series on Jack's Ruger Match Champion. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Till next time, for Mr. Holster and Jack, go out and stay safe. I'm sorry, but I don't even know how many minutes your life has gone in watching this one.